Hey everyone, GeForce41 here with another rookie contest review for TGCTours Rookie Design Contest 2023. Today we're going to MOAGC, Mother of All Golf Courses National version 2. Okay, by Mr. Fat Mark. Well, I'm your reviewer, Mr. Dadbod Gary, and I'm happy to play this. Now, Mark, I don't know if you're going to be able to use this version 2 or not, but I'll review this one because my goal is to give you feedback on your design. So this is the latest version. I don't know if your version 1 was a contest submission or not, but we'll worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're not too intense in this competition, but for feedback purposes, version 2 it is. I'm going to play, I believe it's the blue tees, hole number 1, and the wind is going to be medium northeast because I don't have a preference listed in your write-up. And from your write-up, this is based on Moab Golf Course in Utah, so it's going to be a desert kind of step theme, obviously. All right, so let's get right to the golf. Let's see how this goes. All right. Oh, yeah. Interesting opening tee shot. You've done some work with the interior hills and mountains, reflecting the same kind of look and feel as the exterior version, which we have no control over as designers. That's pretty cool. It's a different texture, but I like it. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about that. But yeah, pretty cool. Good effort. I've done a course like this, and that is a challenge to get that kind of rugged mountain look on the rest of the course that you see off in the hills, in the periphery of the course. So cool. So yeah, you've noticed in your write-up, my favorite comment is, the desert was a chore to plant. Yes, a desert is a chore to plant. I've done one desert course and one only, and it is very difficult because it's so barren. You have to fill it with something, and there's not much to fill it with because it's a desert. So that is a chore for sure. So far not bad. I like what I see. Downhill shot, 85 feet downhill. Wow, it's a heck of a downhill shot to start. You've got some good planning. You got those areas over there. The textures are good. I just don't know about that red texture on the kind of garden area. I've done those too. Good idea. But let's get moving. So again, folks, I've done a few rookie reviews, rookie design contest reviews, and my goal is to help the designer. These are coaching tips. They are not meant to be critical or meant as criticism, so please don't take anything personally. I'm here to help, and from what I've seen for most of these courses, you do need help, and that's why I do this, because I needed help when I was just starting myself, and it took a long time to figure stuff out. So hopefully my videos will save you a lot of time and heartbreak in learning how to get things done. All right. Flattish green. So far, okay. Some decent use of trees there. Yeah, the planting, like I said, yeah, that's not bad. It's hard to pick a tree, right? There's not a whole lot of trees to choose from, and you don't want to over cactus the place, right? Ah, bad putt. Hey-o. All right. So we're off with the par. We'll talk about the basic sculpting in a bit. Like I said, planting's tough, but I think you've done a decent job here. It looks a little busy, this tee shot. Oh, we got those trees in the bunker. That's interesting. That choice of tree is interesting. Maybe there's a reason for it. Be curious if there is. I've designed so much I should know what the name of those trees are, but I don't use them very much. They're colorful. Do you find them in the desert? Again, I forget what type of trees those are, so I'm not going to say that those don't belong in a desert, but that doesn't strike me as a desert tree. But maybe it is, and I just don't realize it. Maybe it's something you'll find in Utah. This texture I don't like. It's too red. I don't think it blends well with the rest of this stuff. a little dark over here on the heavy rough. There's nothing wrong with it. I would think these kind of courses are a little greener, like a lush green. Um, but nothing wrong with it. Wouldn't have been my choice. It doesn't look bad. Looks a little different. But I would have went with more like a deep green. So I did a course back in the day called, I'm going right in that bunker. Oh, if I'm behind a tree, you're in trouble, Mark. If I'm behind a tree, you are in trouble, buddy. That's kind of why you don't want a tree in a bunker. My fault for a bad shot, but yeah, I wouldn't go with a tree in a bunker. If you had a centerline hazard, a little tree in there, then that's all right. But that's just a little weird. Not only, and the reason being, it's doubly punitive, right? Not only am I in the bunker, now I've got no shot out. I'm blocked. But just behind the bunker, fine. But meh, not my idea of a good choice. No biggie, especially on a par 4. So I just got to punch out that way. All right. The greens so far look okay with their slopes. We'll talk about green slopes. That's kind of my big thing on the ones I reviewed. I'm doing a video on green contouring and general slopes of greens right now. So I might focus on that. But so far, okay. I'm not fond of those 3 bushes back there, though. That looks a little out of place. Not sure the point of those. All right. Salvage the par. Okay. Downhill par 3. First par 3. A little bit of water over to the left. Pretty setting for green. You know, it's a shortish 3, so when you have a short 3, you want a pretty setting for it. You want to pick a nice piece of the property. I think you've done that. Actually, I'm glad I mentioned the green sloping and contouring. I think this green is fine. I like the shape and the size. The bunkers are in appropriate places, and I like that idea right there. It's going a little bit the wrong way, if you ask me, and this is what I'm going to talk about in my video. This green, here's the hill here, and there's the water there. The slope of this land generally is going to be going this way. Okay, so this green should have a general slope from this top right down to the bottom left here. And instead it's going that way and down that way. Is that impossible? No, but that's not quite how you're going to see it. That just doesn't look natural to me. Usually an architect's going to fit that green in naturally, and it's going to fit with the slope of the land and how water's going to drain. And that's what my video is about. Here you've got kind of like a high point here. And it's kind of level, but it's a little off. I just think there would be a cool, like, to pitch it this way to that way would have worked better. That's all. And then, you know, a little bit of trouble going down here because you could fall into the water if you pulled one left, which you can still do. So subtle, yes, but you know that's how you need to do to make these courses really pop. Okay. So good idea. Just a little bit on execution. Bunkering, I think you need some work on sculpting, but the placement is pretty good. Okay. And that's a smooth putt in. And I just missed it. So the internal contouring looks fine. The general slope is what I noticed most beginners need to work on. So we'll look at that as we go along. I have that video almost done, but it's so long. I might redo it or do it shorter, but I just had so much to say about it and show everyone. I might just leave it. You know, I did it. It's out there as a reference tool. Maybe I'll leave it. And that would be my first in a series of design videos. I haven't done anything exclusively design related. Okay, you've stopped the fairway here, and it's a par 5. I don't mind holes where the fairway stops if you have a reason, and it's usually some sort of impediment, a river, a stream Here it's a hill. A big hill is fine. Even a little hill's fine. Like I said in one of the other videos, you know, I was taught early on, can you get a mower on it? If you can't, then it shouldn't be fairway, right? So I get that. Not sure that's the best decision on a par 5, because that, especially being 16 feet down, it takes driver out of your hand, and then you're hitting a 3-wood on a par 5. Now I'm into the wind. Now I'm into the wind. Could I hit driver? Maybe. Can I pull it back to there? Sure. It's just this is kind of something on a short 4 might work. Yeah, it's okay. Again, is it horrible? No. I'm just gonna pull it back. Hit it into the wind. I just wouldn't go there on a 5 like this. I think it's going to be a pretty view. But this is something you might see on a shortish 4. And I think I talked about in another video. I was talking about Inverness, hole 10. So there's a great example of a hole where that stops short because there's a hill and the fairway is truncated. And it's a shortish 4. I'm just looking at this down. So you can reach this, but I'm about as close as you can get. So yeah, with the wind back there, you could get there, but again, it would be harder to stop that ball toward the end of that fairway. So I don't know if you intended this to be a 3-shot hole. We're going to talk about the fronts of the green a little bit. That's a little bit too much of a hump in the front here. Gonna bring the putter back here, see if this is gonna work. Yeah, you can't go around when you do this. We're not gonna hold up the video for it. We'll talk about it if we see it next time. Chip it up. Get back there. I like the yellow ball. I just went with the yellow ball this week. A little different. Oh, lips it out. All right. Even par. Let's see what I can do. Let's make a move here, right? Par 4. Again, down the hill. A little narrow. A little narrow. You can get away with it. To me, that's meh. You can give a little bit more room on this. How far is this? 475. Yeah, you probably on a longer 4 want to give it a little bit more room. Let's take a look. Oh, okay. The entrance to that green, it looks much better. We'll talk about it on the approach. Hopefully I put this one in play. I'm going to cut it against the wind a little bit. And just while I'm thinking of it, these bunkers look a little big. I get you might be going for like a waist bunker, but make it a waist bunker. That's kind of like, what is it? That's huge. And I know they have them in these type courses, but they're more waist bunkery. So we'll touch on that too. All right, so I like the contour. This fairway looks like a nice contour, especially with this lighting. You've got some undulations. It's not perfectly flat. So I like the shape of this one. And I like that it's an uphill shot. So, yeah, I just think a little more room would have been good. So let me give you guys, this is a good entrance to the green here. This is nice and smooth. It's a longer 4, so you actually got a hill here. You don't always want to use those, especially on a par 4. But that's pretty reasonable and realistic. So I kind of like that going. It's nice and smooth. The other one was elevated, which is fine, but it was bumpy. In other words, it wasn't smooth like this. That's nice and smooth. So you did a good job there. The other one was like a big lump there, and then it went like straight down. And now I'm making you all dizzy. So let me get back to it. 33 feet up the hill. A little bit of wind at the back. Get in. All right. 6th hole. 400 yards. Again, downhill. Every tee shot seems to be downhill. You got a big old valley there. Is that OB? Good. It's not. It shouldn't be, but sometimes people try to do it when to save themselves. That it is a hazard, right? It's water. If you want to be real fancy, you could put in the red stakes to mark the lateral hazard along the side, just so people know. It should not be out of bounds, but I'm saying some people do make them out of bounds just for the hell of it. And that's in the interior, of course, I don't like that. Unless you absolutely have something crazy like rocks down there. I think here's going to be fine. Let's take a look at the green. It looks almost two-tiered. All right. Let's put this in play and have a chat about a couple of things. Terrible shot. Get through there. All right. Basic green, bunker sculpting is off. I mean, that's a bit of a mess, buddy. That needs to be flattened. And I know you tried to fit it in there. Why? I mean, just make the path go up here. You got plenty of room. There's nothing. It's a desert. It's not like you got houses up there or the road or a railway. You got plenty of room. Why is this? Doesn't even look natural. So give yourself room. Fit the bunker in naturally and flatten it out, because what's going on there, right? So, a bunker's going to have a high and a low side. It looks like this here with the hill, it's kind of unique. You might have a high side here, but you got to make up your mind, and it's kind of bathtubby, right? It's a little too far down, a little too far, and then you've got this big wall here. All right, so those need to be sculpted a little bit better. All of them do. See, this is very bathtubby too. Okay, look at that. That's not smooth at all. So you got to work on that. You got to work on the sculpting around the bunkers too. Take the brush, go around section by section, and kind of smooth that out. Make it even, okay? The green here, a bit of a mess. That's definitely a big slope in the front. I'm not sure you need that. You've got a second tier. I like the shape. I mean, I like that you're using unique shapes. And you've got, I shouldn't say the green's a mess. I didn't mean to, I take that back. It's okay. I think the slopes, like I said, that's going in the general direction. That's a bit of a mess there. And then I don't know why you have this indentation here. There's no reason for it that I can see. So I just think that's a bit of a funny shape that there's no reason that can't really be rounded. I just don't know why it goes in there. There's no reason. Again, so that's a little nitpicky stuff, but general shape is okay, and I do think actually the contours are going as you would expect it off that hill. So you nestled it in pretty good. Just I don't like that front. Up and down. There we go. Nothing but pars. If I can only do this in real life. All right. So now you're going uphill. I just said you're going downhill with the tee shots. Interesting. 115 up a hill. You don't see that very often. At least you don't see it that severe of a hill. So I'll give you credit. That's interesting. I'm not sure if I'm fond of it yet. Take a look at the green and I'll tell you. So it's top of a hill. You kind of could go either way, right? Because you got water on the left and water on the right, so you're perched at the top of a hill. So I can't find a whole lot wrong with that. It's a little tiered, so I'd assume you got a whole location there, maybe one here, and maybe one down there. So that's okay. Again, look at the bunkering. Too big, too deep, and too bathtubby. But all in, not bad. So far, very playable. Again, the planting's pretty good. Deserts are tough. And there's a bird. So Blue Stream Valley was my desert course. I did not port that over. I did that on 19. Ported it over to 21, and I don't know if I'm going to get to port that over. We got a tee box that's a little sloped, so like I've said in my other videos, I instinctively check these. So when I test my courses, it's the first thing I do. I hit that L1 button. Just a little sloped, so be careful of that. If you can't notice with your eye, you're fine. But sometimes you get these things like they didn't, the designer didn't flatten it at all, and you're going like sideways. All right, decent idea. A little bit different down the again. Now we're down a hill again. So these bunkers, it's again a little big. Waste bunkers are a little different. They're very flat, right? And they're kind of very long and large, and it looks more like just the sand area, not a bunker. This looks to me like a bunker, not really a waste bunker. It's like a little in between. So, instead of big bunkers, you want kind of multiple bunkers at times. And I know on a course like this, yes, you can get big bunkers. They're hard to pull off. So I don't do them much at all as a designer because they're not very easy. I like the hill there. That helped. So you gotta be careful because it's hard to make them look good. They're very hard to pull off. Like here, well, here's another example. I'm not sure what that is. It's tough. So, all right, I like the tee shot. I like the idea here. It's right to left, left to right. It's a little switchbacky, right? I like Donald Ross's. Anybody's listening to me know. That's a little thin for this long of a hole, especially when you've got a hazard back here. So again, it's kind of a double whammy. You've got a narrow green that's going to be hard to land, and you've got a huge bunker in front, and you've got a hazard behind it. Pick one would be my advice here. One, not the other. I mean, you've got three things going against you here. A narrow green, a huge bunker, and a hazard. So it's kind of like triple punitive. I don't think you need the hazard. Well, the hazard's there, but my point is in a hole like this, if you just had a thin green and a runoff area of fairway behind it, that's fair. I'd make the green a little bit bigger, lose the bunker maybe. If you want, if you wanted the hazard there, because is the hazard in play anywhere else? I don't think it is. So what's the hazard there for? When you put that in, just for the shot, I would not have done that. But interesting, nonetheless. You've got a little bit of a slope here that's going to help. So either someone keyed you in on that, or you're watching Ben's videos, right? Ben loves that little slope, usually on par fives in the front. And I mean, that's fair for if you're going to make a shot like that, to have that there. That's good thinking. Just a little much. And I know when you're beginning, you're trying to make it interesting, and you're trying so hard. And I kind of would overdo it a few times myself in the early days. But this, triple threat doesn't really make it interesting. It makes it a little too much. Is it ridiculous? No. That putt was ridiculous. My putt was awful. The chip was almost as bad. All right. Off to 9. Finish at the front. All right, this looks pretty. That tee box looks okay. This is kind of like the old-fashioned esque fairway. The old days. Anybody's been on this game for a while. Again, a little much. Not sure what you're going for here. Let's take a look up the green. You want to approach this from the left. That's not going to do it. So it's a 3-wood option. All right. Get over that. Oh, it's not going to stay. Nope. Well, I got the angle. 204 up a hill. The green's okay. Kind of a tier, a little bowl thing. So, I talk a lot about the flow of the green, natural flow. You can have a little depression area like this. You just got to make sure it flows and it would drain. This doesn't quite look like a puddle green. It might be a little bit. It doesn't, you know, this area here, it all kind of flows down. But this is a little bit going this way, so it's almost a little puddly. So just watch that. I think that's a good idea. If you wanted to do that, you put it on the side and then have it kind of all flow that way. But I won't get into that too much here because that is what my video is about. The other thing I'm trying to do is keep these shorter than I've been doing. Tend to get a little too talkative and eager to help you guys, and these videos are running 40 minutes plus. Of course, the first couple of videos, that's going to be natural because I'm getting a lot out, but a lot of stuff I have to say is very similar. Oh, man. Another one lips out. 2 over. All right, on to the second 9. Let's see what we got going. All right, so you got another EU fairway that stops. That's way off in the distance. I'm not going to reach it. A little narrow. The whole thing's narrow. Even the 3-wood option is going to narrow a little bit. So like I've said in my other videos, I like 3-wood options. Just make sure you have one. I would make it nice and wide. Again, I think this is a little too narrow. The green looks pretty good. So let's take a rip at it and get down there. So that's a big drop. Let's just see what you have in there for fun. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that at all because you kind of can't reach it, and that's realistic that you'd have these kind of things in this type of a course. I just would have given a little bit more room on the fairway. You could. This is nitpicky, not faulting you. A little bit more room here would have been fine. You know, it's a little bit severe. If you landed there, you would barely have a stance. You know, and then you'd plummet to an injury if you lost your balance. Which way is the green going? Yeah, that's fine because it's up on a little hill there. It can go either way. Pitch down. It looks fine. Got a little tier there. That's good. See, I don't mind when you have something that's got like one tier back there, but the rest of it's fine. You know, some people go crazy with tiers. And then some people really hate them. I'll use them. I don't hate them. You got to use them sparingly. I think that was fine. I like that planting behind the hole. Hey-yo. After a double and a bogey, back on the birdie train. Okay, 4 downhill, 296.40 down. You've got a palm tree there in the middle. I don't think I've seen a palm tree, so I'm not sure why there's a singular palm tree. Do they have palm trees in Utah? I have no idea. I don't think so. Maybe they do. I haven't been and have absolutely no plans to be in Utah anytime soon. Nothing against Utah. I don't go very far these days. Between work and the 2 kids, my wife's job. Simple trips up and down the East Coast. Yeah, that red just, it's a little much for me. But good idea putting those in. I put those in mine. It's a good use of space. You have to come up with stuff. You just can't run out the same trees and bushes over and over again. So it breaks things up a little. Okay, another 4. Where are we going? Ooh, where are we going now? Oh my goodness. All right, up and over the curve. A green. Okay. All right, interesting. So you can get it over this. This is an interesting shot. Again, not much room. I think in general, I think you need to give, especially in a desert type course, you want the fairways wide. You're having these big downhill tee shots. I'd make them wider. So the question isn't, are you hitting the fairway so much as where you want to be on the fairway. So far that's kind of my take on this. You want to make the holes a little more strategic, not just tight. You know, tight is what you see in a tree line course. Pacific Northwest, Holly, um, up here in the Northeast. And then here, there's not much of a 3-wood option either because you're going to go right through the fairway there if the wind's at your back. So we've got the wind in our face. I'm just going to cut it off this way. Just a little odd, a little bit of an awkward shot. And then, boy. It's going to be a short shot in. Let's look at the green. Now again, this is what my video is going to be about. The water's over here, and this general slope of this green is sloping this way. I mean, you've got a hill here and water here. So the natural slope of the land should be this way. So you would think this green would be pitched that way. It's pitched the other way. I definitely would have the high points up here and go down this way to the water. So it looks to me, it looks backwards, and this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Is it wrong? I guess not, but to me it is. You know, it just doesn't look natural. Could that happen? I guess if you've got good drainage system underneath. It just looks like everything's going the opposite way, this way. Does it affect playability? Not so much. I mean, it is what it is. I snuck that in the corner. But you want your courses to look and play natural. You want that green to look like it just fits right in there. You just laid that. Oh, man. Let's make it look like you just laid that green over it naturally, right? Almost like a nice blanket. So downhill par 5. Now I got a long one. Right, so you had an uphill short one and a downhill long one. 51 feet. That is a long way down for par 3. Couple things here. You don't need that bush right in front of me, right? You're blocking the view of the green. There's no reason for it. Or is it a tree? Whatever. It's a tree down there. Lose that. Rule number 1 on the tee shot. Show your work. You worked hard on this. Make sure you show off your work. You're blocking your work there. You can't see the green. Yeah, there's such thing as blind tee shots. Yeah, but they're up hills and par 4s and, you know, on links courses and things like that. So in a par 3 like this, you want that pretty picture. So don't ruin it with the planning. This I don't think you need here because, again, that's in play. So why would you have that there? Off to the side here, that's fine. Down in here, maybe that's fine. The other thing is this is too much, especially on a 200-yard par 3. So you remember what I was saying about the slope into the green, the entrance? That's what I'm talking about. Too much. Too severe. You got to flatten that, work it flat and flat and flat, and make it look natural. Remember the hole I pointed out? What a good job you did? Take a look at that one. That is too much for me, especially on this type of a hole. That you'd see, you would probably want to see it anywhere, but anywhere, a short one, you know. Excuse me, I think I'm going to go with the 5-iron. Just a little much. Par 5. Again, very narrow, bud. Too narrow, and then you got this huge thing. Oh, yeah, I'd put a waste bunker here, but you got to, look at some courses with waste bunkers. They're basically flat and kind of, you got the scraggly, but there's a way to do it. And they're very, very, very flat. So you got to flatten them, and then there's planting around them and in them sometimes, and you've got little grass patches inside. A good course that just comes to mind, I just had Buzzard Point, North Carolina by Terry Grayson on the casuals this week, on Wednesday, Thursday. So look at that one. That is fabulously done, okay? That is like expert level, but that's a great course to look at how to do those waste bunkers, okay? It's by the beach, but in Carolina. Super job, one of the best bunkering jobs I've ever seen. So take a look at that one. I don't do those very well, so I can't give you great guidance on them, other than they should be flat, and they're a pain in the butt to get to look natural. But again, Buzzard Point, North Carolina, Terry Grayson. Okay, up the hill. Now that's a much better job with the green. So exactly what I was talking about, you did there. Okay, so that's just pitched a little on the hill. The green looks like you just laid it over the landscape, which the hill's off to the left, and it kind of comes down to the right a little. So that's perfect. That's really well done. Okay, that other hole, not so much. Just off a little. But that's pretty good. Okay. And again, is this picky stuff? Maybe, but I think the general slopes of the green are really important. And again, my goal was to talk about things that it took me a long time to figure out, even though back of my head I knew it made common sense. I understood this stuff in real life. But I didn't bring that to my designs. And so hopefully I'm saving you time and effort by pointing out these simple facts. All right, 36 feet up the hill, and again, that's way too narrow, bud. Way too narrow. I get a narrows concept, but that's a little silly. It's a shortish 4, so I'm gonna lay back. Yeah, and that's a little bit of a, yeah, that slope is a little much too. Okay. Again, this green is set nicely. It's up the hill, going up this way, and it's pitched a little bit that way, just right. And that entrance is fine. See, it's nice. That's relatively flat and smooth. So good job there. So you're just a little bit off in a few spots. Get over that. Yeah, I knew that was going to be almost impossible. Okay. Terrible putt. I'm having trouble with my pace. Of course, these greens are running at 182. So that's a little fast for this game. I know folks are not fond of how fast the greens are. I am, so I don't care. I think it makes my courses play more realistically, so you don't have to have these crazy slopes and everything. So this is a pretty one. This could be, I think, even better. Again, I don't get the palm tree because I don't think I've seen too many palms around. A couple cacti, that kind of thing might have worked in there. Pretty, again, this is what I'm talking about. Show off your work. So this shows off the downhill, 67 feet. Holy cow. More of a peninsula than an island. Not bad. That slope's a little much for this type of hole with this. One, it's 200 yards. 2, it's 66 feet downhill. 3, it's a smallish green for this type of shot, and it's an island green. So I would say maybe a little tamer on that green slope. And again, this looks a little puddly, right? Because I think everything's kind of coming down in here. Yeah, you might get away with it on the side. Might get away with it on the side. But, again, I'm just checking that because I'm curious as I'm doing that video. This far down in this wind, I'm laying it short, giving it a little pitch and a little spin. But I know what you're going for, a little bit of a wow factor at the end. There are those in the community that are not fond of island greens. And that was a brutal putt. Oh my god. Oh boy. I had a decent round going. Look at that. Meltdown. Okay. Little tiny water in front of you. 20 feet up the hill. Ooh, alright, this is going to be fun. I like this idea. Again, same comment. It's just a little... I mean, you gave us some room up here. That's good. That's more like it. I mean, up here it's still narrow. But this should be able to... I got the wind in my face, but let's see if this works. Is that going to run down there? Am I going to have enough to catch the hill? This is a fun idea. Yeah, with the wind in my face, it's not going to reach. But that's still a decent, fun shot. So I'll take that. Which way is the green going here? Yeah, this green looks fine. I'm not going to make it up that hill. Shoot. Then, of course, it goes into that little halvesy wedgie, which stinks on this game. The wedge play is so tough to pull off. And it's one of the things I've gotten best at in real golf. So it's frustrating for me because I have so much control over my wedge play now. More than this game. Which is kind of funny. If I only had control of my driver like I have control of this. So again, just narrow, bud. I just give us room. I don't know why on a desert course you went that direction. And again, that bunker should be more of a waste bunker. This is a little capey. How much do you want to cut off? Again, you could have curved that a little bit. Kind of make it more of a cape hole. You didn't even need the water. Cape holes wind around water, but you could simulate that with the depression area or the bunkering or what have you. It's a par 5. There's no direct way in. You kind of go around the side door here or fly it. I'm not sure that's the best idea, especially that pin there, so there's no way you get it close in this one, but not bad, just a little awkward. Alright, a decent short game shot. And there you have it. 77, 5 over. 1, 2, 3 double bogeys. Good lord. So didn't quite score well, but fun round. I had a fun time. The mother of all golf courses by Mr. Fat Man Mark. Or is it just Mr. Fat Mark? Sorry about that, Mark. Yeah, good job. I would say think about your fairways, your width. work strategy into it more than just that narrow concept all the time. The bunker sculpting needs work. I think bunkers on this type of course, you probably want to go with more of a waist bunker type thing. And then think of your green contouring, your slopes, make it a little bit more natural. You hit the mark, pardon the pun, on a lot of them, but a few of them were off. Interior contours of the greens were fine, the putting was fine. Just those entrances to a few of the greens were way off, I thought. But all in, good job. Planting was solid. Tough to plant the desert course. I don't think people realize it unless you've tried to do it. A lot of open area to fill up. So great job. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. I'll be back with more rookie contest courses, and I'll have a casual preview coming for you soon too. And don't forget, I will have some coaching tips, i.e. some design tips, coming soon as well. First one's on green contouring. Okay, so look out for that. All right, we'll see you all soon. Have a great weekend.